Hello, folks, and welcome to the Philly Sports Recap, brought to you by Sam's Community TV, creating content to build a community through genuine relationships. On today's episode, we're going to break down the 9-3 Philadelphia 76ers, who just came off of their in-season tournament win against the Atlanta Hawks on the road, ending a 2-game losing streak. Today, we're just going to jump right into the tape and break down the pros and cons of this team's offensive defense so far. Still very optimistic in terms of where this team is going, and I'll point out why when we review the tape. So without further ado, folks, away we go. And I'll start by saying, of all the in-season tournament courts that I've seen so far, this didn't strike me as awful. I might be in the minority, but I'm okay with that. And maybe it's also due to how it complements the Atlanta Hawks jersey. I don't know. I've seen worse. But Tobias Harris, they started going to him early and often in this game. And I thought that was a really good just awareness and decision-making on his part to go get a bucket. DeJounte Murray's a player. DeAnthony Melton, I think, has been improving. That play was crazy. So this young player out of Duke didn't play long at Duke in his rookie or his freshman season, but you can obviously see why he's a professional player. I mean, his bounce is silly. And the idea that they just got rid of Jonathan Collins and brought in a player like that is, I think is going to bode well for this Atlanta Hawk team. I love the backdoor cut there. A lot of backdoor action for the Sixers. Woo. Yeah, that did happen. Anyway, back to the tape. I thought the Atlanta Hawks played spirited basketball to start. Again, that rookie, I thought Johnson, I think his name is, he was really impressive. And just in terms of his athletic ability, he really played fearless. Bogdanovich is always going to be a guy who's going to attack the hole. Look at this pass right there from Embiid to Covington. I love the chemistry that's starting to forge between these two players. It almost seems like the process, the pre-process days, or not even pre-process, the beginning of the process days. But, I want to say this about Robin Covington, man. He's a really heady player, and I think his IQ has gone up tremendously since the last time he had on Sixers jersey. I think has a real knack for the ball. I think he ended up with 4 offensive rebounds on the game. So, I'm really liking what I'm seeing out of Robert Covington. And this, we have Daniel House. Daniel House made a really good signing yesterday. Again, I think it just speaks to the team's depth. You have a lot of guys on any given night can give you some good minutes. Got to get back in transition. The one area where the Sixers do struggle statistically is the percentage of threes that they take versus the percentage of threes that the opponent makes. So that's something I know in this age of analytics that we're going to have to try to address. I think our offense looks pretty good for the most part, but it is a jarring stat. And if you're not taking and making 3-point shots at the same clip as your opponent, it's not going to bode well for you over time. I thought this was like a really good back and forth type game. Again, here you go, offensive rebound by Robert Covington, kick out for a 3-point shot for DeAnthony Melton. He was really good from the outside. DeAnthony struggled inside a little bit, but again, I thought that he's been playing much better over the last couple of games. This was a transition situation where the Sixers just failed to get back. Another offensive rebound for Robert Covington. Tobias Harris, straight line drive, and he finishes at the rim, which I love to see. I think Tobias has the opportunity to turn the ball over way more often than he does. And I think if he can get it in his head that I can just attack the cup aggressively and not worry about laying it up, but finishing with a dunk, I think it's just going to serve him. Good mismatch that they identified with Hunter on Maxey. Mouse in the house. It's not much you can do. I thought Maxey was a very deferring point guard to start the game off, and I think he was really trying to get all the guys in spots to knock down shots. He didn't really look like he was going after hunting his own shot as aggressively until later on in the second quarter. This is what 3 minutes left in the second quarter, and you see him taking his first 3-point shot right at the top of the key. Again, the Sixers, I thought in the first half could have done a much better job in transition defense. You give up these breakaway layups. Look at Robert Covington. I'm telling you, man, seeing him now, and again, Tobias Harris finishing at the rim. There are times I would have seen him attempt to lay something like that up. And it's just good to see. So we're coming out of halftime, Sixers knocked down the three. Tobias Harris, to me, he had a great game. I think 29 points and a much more willing shooter from the 3-point line in the second half. That was one of the noticeable differences. I thought he took a lot of like those tougher turnaround shots in the first half. Second half, he was the recipient of ball movement, and I just thought was ready just to catch and shoot from the 3-point line. Joel Embiid playing bully ball down low. Again, I think I thought he played a really good offensive game overall. Defensively, his effort wasn't like we've seen to begin the season. And so it's funny, I have one video where I was surprised to see how intense he was defensively to start things off. And now he kind of seems that he's taking a bit of a break again that I've always seen him take. But offensively, he's sharing the ball. He's moving without the ball. He gets the ball back after giving it up to Tobias for a drive. I really like to see that kind of play out of him because I think this version of this Sixers roster has a lot of capable players. Maxey's getting a wide open 3-pointer from the corner. Again, it just goes to show you the way the ball is moving that Maxey could even find himself that wide open. Joel Embiid gives it up, gives it right back on a dribble handoff, touch pass to Daniel House. I mean, that's just beautiful basketball. You got to love. Attempts it again, gets tipped. But I like the idea. He knows where he wants to go with the ball. So I think the next step is now just making sure you see the play cleanly so you can finish. Jaden Springer, to me, is a guy you got to find minutes for. And Daniel House, to me, had just another good game coming off the bench. This team is deep. I really like what Daryl Morey has assembled. Trae Young, you'll give him those. I mean, that's who he is. But at the same time, I thought it was good defense. Make him shoot from 35 feet. I'm okay with that. I like this young player, man. I like him. I think he's going to turn into something special. I almost think he could potentially be a Kawhi-like type player over time, but we'll see. Tobias going to work inside. I thought, again, 29 points. He knew exactly what he wanted to do with the ball. Look at this move by B-Ball Paul. Great footwork as he pirouettes on the pick and roll. I mean, this unit really did a great job locking up defensively and even stepping out and creating a lead and advantage for the Sixers. And look who you have on the court. You don't have Maxey or Embiid. 5-point game, but they're not, they're comfortable. Daniel House just steps into a shot, misses it. Offensive rebound by Jaden Springer, who was, again, you got to find minutes for that young player. DeAnthony Melton he's over 40% from the 3-point line, so he's absolutely been improving in his play. Willing passers all over the court. A nice little screen from B-Ball Paul to free up Tobias in the corner. Look at the hustle. Doesn't come in our favor, but it's the hustle that you got to keep celebrating, because ultimately those 50-50 balls will fall in our favor if we continue to play that well and sound defensively. Good move by DeJounte Murray to a little shake and bake right there. Finish over Embiid with the layup. Fourth quarter guts of the game. And as you can see, the Sixers, the comfortable Joel on a one-leg dirt type shot off the pick and pop from Tyrese Maxey. I mean, the chemistry that they have already as a point guard and a big, it's so much fun to watch. But it's really the others and how they incorporate the others in the game plan that I think is going to allow the Sixers to really continue to get better over the season. You're not seeing a lot of two-man basketball with just Maxey and Embiid or just trying to feature Tobias Harris. Everybody has an opportunity to produce offensively, and I think it just keeps guys very much engaged. Like I said, Robert Covington had 13 offensive rebounds in this game. Tobias Harris finds himself inside easy. It's a very cerebral team. They look and see what's going on the court, and they try to get players with the ball that has the mismatch. They really, I think, you're looking at a team that really does try to take advantage of what the defense gives them, as opposed to having an approach of we're going to do what we are always attempting to do regardless of what we're seeing. So, for me, I'm a big fan of this version of the Sixers. I thought that they absolutely did a good job of moving the ball around. I think our bench players are extremely serviceable. And just to think when you get a Batum and a Kelly Oubre back in our rotation, it's just going to offer so much more confidence that you can really call any number. I know Marcus Morris, they attempted to give him minutes again in the first half, and then he had a bit of a knee-to-knee injury. Let's hope he recovers, because I really want to see him shake things off and get things going as well, because the Marcus Morris that has the offensive punch, for you to get that kind of production as well, where you can really go 15 deep, to me is a real advantage. And so I hope that he can get things going offensively for this team so that he can also be a sound contributor. But Jaden Springer, you got to find minutes for Jaden Springer. I'm convinced of it. I think Danuel House, he's such a professional player that he's always going to be ready when his number is called. And so that's a testament to him and how he works and how he, understands the game. And it's just a consummate pro. But I think with Jaden Springer, because of his youth, he has to learn how to get more comfortable on the floor offensively with Joel Embiid and Maxey. I think it serves Nick Nurse to play him with those guys as well, not just simply as a bench player, but also can get minutes with Maxey and Embiid, because there's things that Jaden Springer offers that you can't coach. I mean, it's almost like a Paul Reed out of your backcourt. I think Paul Reed and Jaden Springer are very similar type of players that will always give you extra possessions, that try to make the right play as much as they're capable of. But for the most part, what they're going to do, and they're going to do something positive. And so I think with Jaden Springer, he just needs more minutes so that he can get more comfortable offensively, more comfortable in terms of his defensive coverages and how he's playing off of, the main guys. But I think he's an asset on this team. I think he's a hawk on the ball. He is a dog in terms of a on the ball defender. He blows up a lot of things off ball as well. He's an outstanding rebounder from the guard position. I mean, he's an elite defensive guard, in my opinion. I think once he gets real minutes and you see like his defensive metrics per minute, I think they're going to be through the roof because he makes an impact all the time. So kudos to Nick Nurse for switching things up. At one point, we went with the lineup that didn't have Maxey or Embiid, and we were fairly well. Tobias Harris sort of led that unit, and I think he tried it and it worked, and so he stuck with it, and I'm glad that he did. I think Coach has to continue to grow his bench, use his bench. I think Embiid and Maxey are willing passers and playmakers. They want guys to be able to produce. I think it takes the pressure off of them as long as they're winning. I do think that this team is bought into winning as opposed to just numbers. And so, I'm loving what I'm seeing. I think we have another game coming up on Tuesday, I think against Cleveland, another in-season tournament game because it falls on a Tuesday. So getting at least an in-season tournament game victory is big for the Sixers to stay in contention of potentially winning this thing. I think our plus-minus differential with Indiana Pacers, I think we're a plus 12. They're a plus 11. So we have them in points, but they have us in wins and losses. So Indiana has to lose a game in the tournament. And the Sixers, I think, have to win out for us to have a chance of advancing. But I do like the in-season tournament. I think it just offers a different incentive that even as a fan I can get into, because the court sort of indicates that these games matter differently. And, I think the players feel it as well. So good job for the Sixers to, again, ending their 2-game losing streak, getting a big win against the Atlanta Hawks. First time seeing the Hawks this season, another in-season tournament victory so that they can stay in contention. Overall, dominant game from our best players. Toby, I think, was the player of the game with 29 points. But it's Joel Embiid as a playmaker that I think is really the piece that is going to allow this team to be really effective, especially in the postseason. Because in years past, you key in on Embiid, he is uncomfortable passing out of double teams, and the offense becomes stagnant. What I'm seeing from this team is that they're growing. He's playing with other real professional players who know how to play basketball. I also just got to shout out Robert Covington, because to me, this is the version of Robert Covington that I love, man. Remembering who he was when he left us and seeing him in his return to Philadelphia, it's awesome. It's just a testament to guys who work, guys who learn how to play the game. I mean, his IQ is jumping off the court to me, in terms of a knack for the basketball, making the right plays, making the right passes, getting his hands in the passing lanes. He's just very disruptive defensively, takes the right shot. He's a willing shooter from the three-point line. Obviously, he's a little bit streaky, but he's taking shots that teammates expect him to shoot, which only puts us in a position to offensive rebound. So he's doing the right things. When you get Batum back and you add him maybe back to the start lineup and bring Rocco off the bench, again, it just adds to the depth. Again, you have a Kelly Oubre who's going to get back in the team probably next week or the week after. So, I'm really excited what the Sixers are showing. Big game on Tuesday against Cleveland. Looking forward to seeing how the Sixers play in that one. And then, yeah. So, very curious about your thoughts on the team and their game against the Hawks. I know that Maxey was very deferential to start the game, but I think it's good for him. I think, wearing the hat as the true point guard, making sure everyone is comfortable, because I think Maxey knows he'll have his moments and he'll be able to get his shots. So, getting guys comfortable in the flow of the game, I think is a good job for a point guard. There are moments when I think he will have to be aggressive, and there's nothing that says to me he won't take advantage of it when it comes. But, until then, he's doing what he needs to do to get guys in the flow of the game. And I think offensively, the team looks good. Still need to get our three-point shot attempts up more. Percentage-wise, I think we're 28th in the league at shooting three. So we got to get more shots up at the three-point line, especially since that's the new wave of the game. And, I think it'll ultimately, over time, it's not going to be in our advantage if we just don't shoot volume three. So hopefully the Sixers will figure that piece out a little bit more. But if we can keep getting these backdoor cuts and layups because of how the guys are playing Embiid and Maxey, I'll take the trade-off. A win is a win, like Jalen Hurd said. Keep the main thing the main thing. So hope you enjoyed today's video. Any comments, please sure you like and subscribe. And until next time, folks, peace.